Grüß Gott, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Vienna, Austria for the don'ts of visiting Austria, because there's a lot of things you want to do when you're here, whether it's visiting the awesome cities, the big cities like Vienna and all the culture here, Salzburg with all the history, Innsbruck with the gold, they have a golden roof, it's cool, the great museums there. There's so many great things to do here in Austria that sometimes we forget of some of the don'ts about going to a place. And that's why today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting Austria. And my first don't for you, you notice I said Grüß Gott at the beginning? Yeah, don't forget to say Grüß Gott when you go into a business, or you go into a restaurant, or you go into somebody's house. You want to greet people when you go into a store, when you go into places, because here things are very much formal than a lot of other countries. So titles are much more important, greetings are much more important. And so the go-to greeting here in Austria is Grüß Gott, greetings to God. So make sure you have that, and make sure you're following your manners here too, because they're pretty much a stickler for those kind of things. And speaking of a rule, a stickler kind of thing you need to make sure you remember is a second thing. Don't be late. Look, Austrians are not late, okay? Whether it is for a dinner, whether it's for a meeting, whether it's for a club, whether it's for the opera to start, a concert to start, whether it's students going into class, everything seems to start exactly on time. Not like, oh, I get there at 9:30. No, I'm already there, seated at the meeting, ready to go. So at 9:30, we start talking to do ourselves right away. I'm here teaching, and I get to class 10 minutes early, to be there before my students. My Austrian students are already there before I get there. I'm like, well, you guys are a little bit too early for me, okay? So definitely make sure if you have any kind of meeting or you have any kind of tour or anything like that, they'll leave without you, okay? So make sure you're there and you're on time. Sei pünktlich. Be punctual. Very important here in Austria. Now, if you do get invited to somebody's home or their apartment or something like that, another little don't I'd say is don't wear your shoes inside people's homes. It's kind of rude, and you'll see when you come in, there'll be like a mound of shoes there, or well, actually, no, there won't be a mound. There'll be shoes lined up there. Just take your shoes off, leave them there. You'll be fine. So if you're a tourist, you've been traveling around, make sure you watch your feet and wear the clean socks, okay, when you're going over to their house, just to make things a little bit more nice. Now, I know a lot of us don't always get invited to locals' homes, so most of the time we're eating at restaurants. So my don't for the restaurants for you is don't expect over-the-top service here in Austria. Whether you're in a beautiful town like Hallstatt, or you're seeing the mountains in Innsbruck, or you're taking in a coffee here in Vienna at a cafe and a Sachertorte cake. Oh yes, it's so nice, but do not expect to have overly friendly service. Now they'll be a professional and they will know stuff. I mean, these people are trained in the service industry, so if you tell them, well, I have this allergy, or I prefer this kind of cut of meat, they'll tell you the best thing for you to order on that menu. But don't expect them to be super nice about it, and don't expect them to be overly friendly, because I know for a lot of tourists coming from the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, you used to kind of the over the top, the customer is king kind of mentality. That does not go here, okay? Take my word for it. So you need to have some patience. So it will take time to get your menu. It will take time to take your order. Oh, also, they don't just bring you your check when you've finished eating, because here they're like, look, we don't know if you're gonna have more food, so you might have 10 strudels that night. They don't care. You can sit for hours at a meal, and that's one thing you should know is don't think you'll go for a fast dinner or a fast lunch. It will take time, not just because of the service, because the amount of food you'll have, but just know that you'll have to ask for the bill, okay? So don't expect it to just show up. Just like, could I pay? Darf ich bezahlen? Am I permitted to pay? Or kann ich bezahlen? Can I pay? That can really help out. Another thing I would say to go along with that don't think you can pay with credit card everywhere around Austria. Now, a lot of places you can, I'm not gonna lie for that, but if you're going around, for example, you're here for the Christmas markets. Oh my God, we've been to the Christmas markets in Feldkirch, in Salzburg, here in Vienna, and in Innsbruck. Oh my God, this country is fantastic at Christmas. But if I wanna have my Glühwein, or if I wanna have my oh God, the dumplings they have in Salzburg, oh my God, they're so good. With the cream and there's, oh. But the thing is, if you're out and about doing this and buying stuff, it's a cash only kind of thing. You want to grab that Vienna, the hot dog, you want to get your hot dog Frankfurter kind of thing, you need to make sure you have change to get that, because they don't necessarily take card everywhere. So make sure, take some money out of the ATM, have some change with you, so if you want to get something small, you can do that. So the thing is, when you think of Austria, a lot of times you'll think about what you see in the tourism guides, right? You'll see Vienna with the Schönbrunn Palace displayed there, or the Belvedere Palace there, where you can see all the Gustav Klimts, or the Natural History Museum, the Kunstkammer, or St. Charles Church, Karlskirche here, Stephansdom, St. Stephen's Cathedral, or you're in Innsbruck and you'll see the Folks Museum. You see all these really great things, these great cities that are here, Salzburg, Linz, Graz, you see all these things. My don't for that is, don't think Austria is just these cool, beautiful towns and cities. There's amazing nature here in Austria for you to enjoy. In the wintertime, yes, you can go skiing. It's a little pricier than going to other places, but it's so worth it, because if you're in Innsbruck and you're staying in Innsbruck and then you go out skiing, when you come back, you have such a great feeling in the town, but you get the nature of going out there. Hiking in the summer times, oh man, it is so beautiful here. You don't want to go hiking? Oh, don't worry. They have lakes. If you're by Salzburg, you can go to lakes. Here in Vienna, you can even just go outside of Vienna and go to the Wienerwald, the Vienna forest, and just walk around and wander there. It's such a great natural beauty kind of place that a lot of people don't think of, because Austria is usually thought of this super culture place with these great cities and museums. Yeah, yes, they have that, but they have so much more. And when you are traveling around, my next don't for you is, don't skip out on the regional folk museums or any regional museums. Austrians take great pride in Austria. They also take great pride in their region, and they also take great pride in their city, which means you are blessed. We as tourists are blessed with some of the best folk museums, like regional museums and folk museums anywhere in Europe. For example, if you go to Innsbruck, I love the Tyrol Folks Museum there. And you go there and they've taken rooms from houses all over Tyrol and put it in the museum. So you really see, how do these families live for, all these years? And it shows you that, and it's just so cool. So make sure you do check out the regional museums. I mean, yes, check out the big museums and art museums and stuff, but you can go see the regional museums that show the culture. They put a lot of effort into it, and you get a lot of information, but you get a better understanding of the people here as well, which is really, really nice. And speaking of culture, when you are here, I would say is, don't skip the coffee and cake culture in Vienna and in other cities. The cafe scene in Austria is a thing. I mean, drinking coffee and having amazing torts or amazing cakes or whatever is a thing you do. Yes, the apple strudel thing, you do want to have that when you're here. The Sacher Tort, yes, you should have that when you're here. The Linzer Tort, you should have that when you're in Linz. You have all these great things. And a lot of people just think, I'm going to do my tourist thing. I'm going to go to the museums, and then I eat my Wiener Schnitzel, and I go. No, you want to sit, you want to relax, find a place like this, find a cafe on a pedestrian street, sit down, have a coffee, have a cake, and just sit back and enjoy the culture that's there. Because seeing the city alive with the people going by really makes it a really cool thing. So don't skip out on the culture of cafes with coffee and, cakes and stuff like that. And honestly, I don't drink coffee. I drink the hot chocolate, so it's even okay in the summer. Now, I know a lot of people get worried when they're traveling places. Is it going to be easy for me to find accommodation or public transportation or all this kind of stuff? Do I need to worry about that? Well, here's the thing. In Austria, you don't have to worry about the tourism infrastructure. Whether it is people speaking English and other languages at major sites or minor sites, you got that covered. You need public transportation, you got that covered. Great trains, all kinds of stuff to take you anywhere you want to go. Buses as well. Oh, you're trying to find it. You don't know if there's a hotel or Airbnb or bed and breakfast. You're not sure where to stay. Don't worry. The local tourism board can help you out, because they have tons of accommodation here. Because Austria has been a famous and fabulous place to visit for hundreds of years. And so they've got this complete developed tourism infrastructure, which makes it so easy to travel around. And that's why, though your waiters may not seem super friendly, they are super professional, because they've been trained to be a good waiter and what it takes and know what foods work with what. And that's what makes it so awesome here. Now, you notice I smile a lot, and I smile randomly a lot as well here. Now, my next note for you is, don't randomly smile at people, and don't try to make small talk at the checkout when you're going shopping and stuff like that, because it doesn't seem like the Austrians really dig that. They're like, why are you smiling at me? Why are you talking to me? You're not my friend. What's going on here? Now, that'll be the first or second or third time you see them. Now, the fourth time, maybe a smile and a nod. A nod and a smile, okay, that could be a good way. But just know that small talk and being nicey and stuff like that, that's not a really big thing here. It takes time to develop friendships in Austria. So if you're gonna move here, don't think you're gonna make friends like that. It will take time. But once you make friends with Austrians, they will stick with you, because you're one of us now, you're with me, and you have that really kind of cool feeling, So do make sure you check that out. If you want to think about it, it's like a Mozartkugeln, It's got the hard, crispy chocolate on the outside that you have to bite through. It's hard to get through that, but once you get through into the marzipan, it's so easy to really enjoy it. It's like friendship here. It's hard to crack, but once you get into it, oh yeah, you really, really love it. And another don't I have for you when you are here is, you'll notice that it's not really too loud at this park, and it's like noontime, and there's students all around and stuff like that. And my don't for you for this is, don't be loud in Austria. Whether you're on public transportation, you're going to a restaurant, you're walking down the street. I mean, they're just not loud. I mean, I was at the Vienna Opera's 150th anniversary, birthday celebration. It's an opera, outdoor opera. Thousands of people were sitting there watching it. It was totally quiet. You could hear a baby crying like a block away because everyone was quiet. On the metro, the U-Bahn, the subway, quiet. It's just quiet here in Vienna, but also in Salzburg, also in Linz, also Hallstatt, beautiful town, Hallstatt. Oh my God, that is whenever you see that cute village on the lake with the mountains behind it, that's Hallstatt, okay? They're just quiet. So that means we tourists, we need to be quiet too. Don't be the tourist that's at the cafe when everyone else is sitting there quietly having their coffee and their tort, and you're sitting there FaceTiming your friends back home. Hey, I'm here in Austria. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. And the waiters will come up and tell you, hey, quiet down. The locals, the Austrians will say, hey, we're here to enjoy our cake, not your conversation. And so you do need to be a little bit quieter when you are here. Just giving you a heads up, because I know some of us get a little bit loud and boisterous. I mean, I feel really bad making this video right now because I'm being kind of loud, but there's nobody around here, so I feel a little bit better about it, but it's still like one of those things. Now, my next don't for you, I know I told you about the infrastructure, about transportation and stuff like that. Another don't that kind of goes along with that one is don't worry about taking taxis or Uber or anything like that when you are here in Austria. Now you can, that's not a problem, but their public transportation system within the cities and within the towns is so good, you don't really need to. You can save a lot of money just taking that public transport. It's safe. It goes pretty much everywhere around the city. All the tourist sites and towns you go to, they will have it. So just know you can save your taxi and Uber money and just get the public transportation tickets, okay? So my next don't for you when you do come here to Austria is don't get schnitzeled or stetzeled out. If you're not sure what Schnitzel is, Wiener Schnitzel, it's the veal cutlet, hammered down, breaded and fried. It comes in very different, there's veal, there's Puten, which is turkey, there's chicken Schnitzel, there's usually Schwein Schnitzel, your pork Schnitzel. You'll have a lot of that. Or you might have Schnitzel, which is basically, a pork knuckle, this big hunk of meat with a bone going through it. Oh man, it's so good, but it's so heavy, especially if you're gonna have these things with some of the dumplings that are here, with all the strudels and the cakes and things like that. It can become quite a heavy meal here. So make sure you don't get strudelled out, okay? Don't get, schnitzeled out. There are tons of international restaurants here and also vegetarian options and stuff like that. So don't feel you have to eat Austrian all the time, because you can eat a lot of other good stuff here that you can kind of balance out the heavy Austrian foods with a little bit more lighter fare from other places. And that's what's one thing that's cool about Austria. It's a very international country, so you have a lot of other restaurants and nationalities influencing the food here. Now, my next don't is specifically for my American followers, and I would say is don't expect the Austrians to appreciate your love of the sound of music as much as you do, because the Austrians, I mean, don't get me wrong, the tour guides in Salzburg truly enjoy the sound of music as much as you do, because that sound of music for them is ching, 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 the money going in their pockets for all the tours they do. Look, the sound of music is the Von Trapp family stuff. That's something that's really big in America, but not really here. So you don't really have to worry about like talking about it or singing it or anything like that. And really, it's only like a Salzburg region thing where that stuff is. So if you want to do tours, there are plenty of tours to do that, but it's going to be a Salzburg thing, not a Vienna thing, okay? Okay, so I do have a couple more don'ts for you in terms of the don'ts of Austria. One don't I have for you is don't think you can shop on Sundays. Most stores are actually closed on Sundays. Now, as a tourist, it won't affect you too much because of entertainment, restaurants, transportation still work just fine on Sundays. But just know shopping ain't gonna happen on Sundays here. Now, my other don't is you notice I'm here in this nice restaurant here and there's no smoking around, but just realize don't get upset with the smoke here in Austria. People still smoke here quite a bit, so if you're at a cafe, don't be surprised if you're having your cafe and tort and the person next to you is having a cafe and a Marlboro, okay? So just be ready for that. There's no point to complain about it because they can smoke outside, and some places have smoking rooms inside, so just have a heads up for it to make sure you're in a non-smoking area and you'll be okay. Anyway, let's go back and finish off over at Karlsplatz. And my last don't I want to give you for when you're here in Austria is don't think that Austria and Germany are the same thing. Because I know a lot of people go, oh, I already went to Germany, why do I need to go to Austria? Or I went to Austria, why do I need to go to Germany? They are two very different countries, okay? different kinds of culture, different kinds of people, different kinds of ways they eat and the ways they go out and stuff like that. They are different places, so don't think they're the same, because Germany is Deutschland, Austria is Österreich, so they're not the same. Aber das stimmt, oder? See, the locals know, like, yeah, they're not the same place. And they appreciate when you realize the differences. So take the time to learn some of the Austrian history when you come here, because you really get a lot more out of it, because it's not the same as Germany, okay? So do enjoy that, and I hope you don't mind that I went through these don'ts for you to help you have a better time here in Austria. If you want to learn more, check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions. And if you like honest, fun travel videos like this, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we get new travel videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And we'll say bye from here in Vienna, and thank you very much for a great time here in Austria. To all my Austrians who show me great times for the last 20 years of visiting this country, I really appreciate it. So, Dankeschön und bis später, or until next time, or until later is really translation, but whatever. Tschüss!